Men, what's something that you saw another man doing that you initially thought was stupid, but now you do it and it's great? For me it was wearing Crocs. I roasted so many people in my mind. Then I got some for just around the house and garden cause they're washable. Now I wear them everywhere except work. Though, I did make a quick trip to work during COVID lockdowns and realized after I got there that I was wearing Crocs. Lol. What would you never tell your current partner? I built a secret compartment into the crawl space I finished. There's nothing in there, but it's been so long since I built it, I feel ashamed to admit it. I kept it a secret. What do you think is the creepiest, most disturbing unsolved mystery ever? I am an avid unresolved mysteries reader, and I don't know why it has stuck with me, but Carly Goose, 16-year-old, called her stepmother to pick her up from a party, reportedly was too scared to sleep because she thought someone would kill her, and the next day she disappeared. There were some weird interviews and dynamics between step-parents and birth parents, and a bunch of theories abound. What was your WTF paranormal experience? I was in bed and woke up to my brother in my doorway screaming. I immediately ran to him, but he ran away. When I caught up to him, I asked why he was screaming and he said he saw another me hovering over myself laughing and was terrified of me for a while. Now he doesn't remember, but my parents do. Hell yes. When I was about 8 or 9 I had a dream that I was floating above my bed. My 15 or 16-year-old sister came in to wake me up, and while I couldn't hear her, I could see the terrified look on her face. I woke up and asked her what was wrong. She said that I was white as a sheet and not breathing, and I only woke up when she screamed. I had what I think is a dream of me leaving my body and going through the roof of my house after I took many Tylenols with codeine for treating the pain of an impacted wisdom teeth. I got up sweating profusely with the biggest headache I've ever had. What do you think happens after you die? My family sells all my stuff way undervalued. What's the scariest thing that science has proven real? Some tumors have teeth, hair and even eyes. Almost 80% of the ocean hasn't been discovered. What are you most likely to find there? Water. What would you not do for $1 million? Have S with a child. If you were to die today, but you had the chance to do one last thing, what would it be? Enjoying the rest of the day with my family. What was the hottest thing someone said to you? Good girl, giggity. My eyes don't have to be up here. Wanna see my boobs? If you were the last person left on Earth, what would you do now that everyone's gone? I'd kilometers. What's the point anymore then? Don't interrupt this as me being suicidal or anything, I'm not, but if you're the only human left there really isn't much point left. Nothing makes people show up like walking around naked. What was stupidest reason you were bullied for? I once got insulted by a kid for looking at foreign ice cream. AskReddit. What's the most scary thing to happen in your own home? I just moved to a new state, gorgeous house. Within a week we got shot up in a drive-by shooting. Twice. Never learned why, and if I had to guess, the previous owner must have been a dealer or a gang member and someone must not have got the message about the move. No worries though, nobody was injured. Just our sense of security, some walls and windows. What's a scary urban legend about where you live? I don't live there anymore, but the house next to the one where I grew up had some weird stories about it. It was abandoned and run down, but still had patio furniture in the back of the house, so it really looked abandoned in a hurry. Our old neighbor on the other side of our house said she knew the family that used to live there. She told us this story about how one night at around 2 a.m. the family's daughter showed up at her door crying. The daughter was crying about how they had to leave that night and came to say goodbye. My neighbor said she saw them leave carrying garbage bags into their car, trying to take all they can. They left that night and never came back. Maybe a year after hearing this, me and my friend were playing catch in the backyard. He threw the ball over the fence of the creepy house, so I went to go get it. It was just a normal fence that divided the properties. You could go around it. I went around it and grabbed the football, and I look up at the second floor window and I swear I saw a woman looking out the window. I ran back to my house as fast as I fucking could. Now looking back on it, the woman was probably just a squatter or maybe just a teenager with her that broke in with her friends looking for a place to smoke. But it still freaked me the fuck out. What non-scary thing scared you as a child? The pile of clothes in the corner of my room when the lights were off. Clothes hanging on coat racks were also terrifying at night. What are some simple but yet incredibly disturbing / scary facts? Apple juice contains more arsenic than usually allowed by the FDA. Your phone has more bacteria on it than your toilet. The sun is running on nuclear power. Also, the heat death of the universe is inevitable. Everything is going to die a horrible death eventually and there's nothing to be done about it. What did you find scary as a kid? The basement. Anytime my dad or mom made me get something from down there, it was the fastest sprint of my life. Have you ever had a nightmare so scary or disturbing that you couldn't get over it, and if so, what happened? Had a realistic dream/nightmare that made me so petrified and confused that I thought I was still dreaming for next couple days. I dreamt of myself murdering a lot of people. So gory. So much blood and guts. Screaming and people praying. It made me scared of myself and I honestly wouldn't let people near me. I had a pretty bad one when I was about 6. I was upstairs, in my room, because my parents said it wasn't safe to come down. Meanwhile they were just watching TV there. I remember that my sister was outside, which was when the bad stuff happened. There was a giant tick outside. It ate my sister. Somehow I wasn't emotionally affected in the dream and was later allowed to watch TV with my parents. It is really funny to me nowadays though. In real life, we were coming down from a mountain lake pulling our boat and the road was very steep and curvy. The guardrails looked like they'd stop absolutely nothing. I was scared we'd go right over the edge and drop about 2,000 feet. I thought this is how I'm going to die. Of course I didn't, and it's been 10 years since that day, but I still dream about that every now and then, and think the same thing, and it's still as scary as that day. I know I won't die on that road, as we won't be going on it again, but it's still hard to get over it. My arms had gotten paralyzed in my sleep. I was suffocating in my sleep and couldn't pick myself up or flip over without use of my arms. I had to struggle over while unable to feel or move my arms at 3 a.m. while completely out of breath. When I was super young, like 6 or something, I had a nightmare I was stuck in a washing machine and I tried screaming for help, but every time I tried to speak it's like my voice was muted or strained. I still vividly remember it. I'd been reading a book before bed. The book went into thorough details about one of the creatures in the book. They looked like people but their skin was so pale it was a sickly blue. Matter blonde hair, bright blue eyes, sharp teeth, hunched, skinny beyond belief and sharp claws. Former people turned something else. The author was so detailed in their mannerisms that they became terrifying. I could practically hear the high-pitched, screeching, haunting sounds they made. When I went to bed that night, I had a nightmare that I was in a cave. The ground outside was thick with at least half a foot of snow and I was sleeping in the cave with what I assumed to be my spouse. The cave was decorated and homey and there was a nice fire going. I wake up in the dream and the cave door is unblocked and 2 of them are just staring at us. I'm frozen in terror. Then I start shaking my husband awake, but the second I look away they're lunging into the cave, claws digging into my legs as they try to drag me out of bed. I'm screaming and clinging to my husband when he wakes up as if it's a normal morning. Rubbing his eyes like I'm not losing my shit, but when he becomes completely awake, they're suddenly gone. Nowhere to be seen, so he shrugs and turns back over, and the minute he does, they're back at the entrance. They're foaming at the mouth and twitching like no other. The rest of the nightmare was traumatizing. It felt like I was asleep for days, and when I finally woke up, I didn't sleep for 3 days. The nightmare just got worse and worse and I could physically feel some of the things being done to me in that nightmare. What's the most vivid, significant or scary dream you've ever had? I used to do karate a while back, and I had this dream around the time that I was thinking of quitting karate, because it was extremely difficult and tiring. My mom was walking me through an abandoned area, possibly a dirt road, I'm not 100% sure, and it was very empty. No trees, no nothing in sight, just me and my mom. I was telling her how I wanted to quit and she was explaining to me how I had to do this, very aggressively might I say, and was very against it. We finally arrived at this broken down building, completely wooden 2-story house that was falling apart. I walked in, my mom and my karate teacher talked a bit, and then my mother left. BTW, my karate teacher wasn't actually my karate teacher. In my dream it was a young woman with ginger hair covering her entire face, think The Ring, which was pretty bizarre tbh. Next thing I know, I wake up near an old friend, who looks different in the dream than from real life, and one of my cousins, who looked like their younger self. We are all inside the building and we can't leave the room we are in because everything beyond it is a void. We try to escape through the windows, that had no glass, but for some reason, we couldn't escape. My karate teacher then went to us and then the dream pretty much ended there. What is scary about aliens? That we don't know what they are. Their looks, their purpose, how they would treat us if we made contact. It all comes down to our human fear of the unknown. Like and subscribe if you would like to see more Reddit videos or other kinds of videos. This video took a long time to make. I appreciate if you support my channel.